So I finally got my new suppressor out of jail. It's been a 2-year wait on this guy. It's a SilencerCo Omega 36M. We'll have a close look at it here in just a few minutes at the bench, but I'm running out of daylight. I want to get the first shots through it. So I've got my 308 AR-10 out here, and right now I've got the SilencerCo flash hider installed on the muzzle. And I just shot a couple rounds through the gun to get it zeroed, and we're good to go. So what I want to do is I want to shoot a group with the flash hider, and then I want to shoot a group with the suppressor in each of its configurations. If I can get it apart here. Whatever, I'll mess with it here in a few minutes. Let's start out 10-shot group here, baseline, then we'll screw on the suppressor and start playing around. Now the ammo I'm shooting is the 168 grain Sierra Match King in some new Lapua brass. So fire forming some new Lapua brass and 43 grains of IMR 4895 with the CCI 41 primer. Standard overall length of 2.8 inches. Our target is at 100 yards. Got the shot marker electronic target system, and I've also got a target camera, so as long as it doesn't malfunction, we'll be able to see that over there. And I'm going to gather velocities with the LabRadar chronograph, but I'm not sure it'll matter. This is a pretty low velocity load, like 2650, something like that. So let's see what happens. So, here with 308, mainly just kind of looking to see what sort of point of impact shift we're going to see. And once I'm done with this, we'll pull out 300 Blackout. We'll shoot some subsonics through the suppressor as well. But starting out with the 308. I need to do some magic with shot marker here. Okay, there we go. Tell you what, I think that's about enough of the loud ones. They're going right where I'm aiming. That group 0.7 inches looks good. I think velocity was right at 2600, even lower than I thought, which doesn't matter. Yeah, 2588, standard deviation 10.2, extreme spread 26. Okay, let's put the suppressor on, which is pretty easy with this flash hider. Got everything tight. Yeah, make sure the bolt's open. Snug it up and then turn the little locking collar. And we're there. Let's see where these 5 go. Wow, that shot went higher. That's a little bit weird. With my normal SilencerCo Omega, we've always seen it shoot lower. I don't think the next round went in the chamber. Yeah, it did. Guess it was just really quiet or something. Okay, let's shoot the next 4. My trigger didn't reset. I think that's what happened last time. Like the trigger didn't feel right. I'm actually going to turn my gas down just a little bit. All right, let's see if that does any better. Trigger didn't reset that time either. All right, I know it's too much gas, so I just made a pretty drastic adjustment. Just realized I forgot to plug the microphone in on my LabRadar, so that hasn't been triggering. No big deal. All right, let's see what this does. Okay, that fixed our trigger reset. Well, this is definitely new, except for that one shot. Everything just went down in the normal group. Very interesting. What's our group without that one? Yeah, 9 shots into 0.98 inches. All right, let me pull this thing off of here, and I'll see if I can put it in its short configuration. I think I have the necessary tools. This thing's already pretty darn hot. There it went. All right, so these first, what, 2 inches or so, screw off of it to make it a shorter package. And I need to move my end cap if I can get it off. Hey, I think I got it. Okay, so now that's its shorter configuration. So let's do another 5-shot group. Wow, that is extremely surprising. Let's see if I can get this whole thing off of here. Okay, just took the whole thing, flash hider and all, off the gun. So let's put the Omega on here. The Omega 300, I guess it would be. Or at least I think the Omega 300 is the same as the old standard Omega. When I bought this, the 300 didn't exist yet, and the Omega 9K didn't exist yet. So I guess this is like the original Omega, which I think is the Omega 300. Whatever. I've got 2 pieces sitting in a row all lonely. So let's shoot those 2 real quick. That's interesting. So not enough gas. Whenever we switch to the Omega, it'll probably be easier to judge the gas differences. I guess would be the back pressure differences. Whenever we get to 300 Blackout, maybe. Yeah. Maybe just a little bit of difference there with the Omega 300. Interesting. This Krieger barrel in my 308 is still pretty new, so I don't think I've shot it much without the suppressor, but clearly you hang whatever you want on the end of it and it's fine with it. So I'm about out of daylight anyway. I tell you what, we need to find some different guns, because it doesn't seem to be making any difference on this one. All right, let's get back to the bench. So my 2-year NFA nightmare is not really all that dramatic. I bought this Omega 36M right when they were released, and it was back ordered. So it was several months before I ever got the serial number so that the paperwork could get started. And then 6 months later, I was approved. My tax stamp was approved, and I never knew about it because the dealer I was using had essentially gone out of business, or the business had split up and the partners had gone different directions, and one guy took the FFL license and the other guy went his other way. Well, all of my paperwork was lost, gone. They have no idea where it went. So there was another 6 months of me requesting replacement paperwork for this guy, and then it got sent to the wrong address, and then I had to request it again, and then finally it came to me, and here we are. So all of that took 2 years. If I had communicated better with my FFL and been more involved while their company was kind of breaking up, maybe I could have avoided it. But it just sucks. I mean, if I've got any general advice to give coming out of this, it would be to use a well-established dealer. I don't have any other NFA item purchases planned, but if I ever do get another one, it's going to be, I want to use a dealer that's been around a long time and seems to have a larger operation than just a small outfit like I did this time. So let's go ahead and pull this thing apart. So this is their, I think they call it the ASR mount or the Charlie mount or something. This is their quick detach mount. It has that, and then there's this like tapered thingy there. So this is what allows you to use the flash hider we were using for all of your quick detach purposes. Now with my old Omega, I just used the direct thread adapter because what happened was each of these muzzle devices is 75 bucks. So every time I bought a barrel and I was needing to spend another 75 bucks on a muzzle device, it just got to be too much. So I just went with direct thread because I don't shoot very often without the suppressor on the gun. So I have got the direct thread adapter ordered for the new 36M, but it's not here yet. All right, so that's that part. And let's see, here we go. We've got kind of the main body, which we'll have a look inside here in just a minute. But yeah, so there's the main body, And then this extension that sticks out a little bit farther, and then we've got our end cap. And they make different size end caps, and they even make one with a built-in flash hider. All right, so there's that. So that's our end cap. So end cap, extension thing, main body, and then our attachment piece. Not much to it. Now, along with the direct thread adapter, I also have ordered the adapter so that I can use this on pistol, because I can use this on my 9mm Glocks. So don't have it yet, can't do it today, but looking forward to having something I can screw onto my pistol. Now you might wonder, why did you buy a second suppressor when you have a perfectly good one already? And the problem is that it's not good. I've got a problem. So let me pull out the bore scope and I'll show you what's wrong with this thing. Okay, let's start out with the new suppressor. Turn up the lights. There we go. Not a whole lot going in here, right? Just a big stack of baffles. Then here's a little bit of a gap between the end of the main body, and then this is the extension part. And then there's our end cap. What does that say? 355/9. Okay. So that's what a shiny new suppressor looks like. So now let's go into my Omega 300. And except for being much dirtier, looking pretty similar. Until we get past the third baffle. And we see this mess. Yeah, that's not good. See if I can rotate this and actually get a look at what I'm after. So yeah, this whole group of baffles in the center are all cracked and damaged. And then once we get out here toward the end, and there's our end cap, everything returns to normal. So this is the only end cap I've ever owned for this suppressor. So you can see if there have been any bullets make contact with it, it's not super obvious. So how do I break the baffles in the center of my suppressor while both ends look fine? Well, you might notice all of the marks and scratches right around the center of this thing, right about where those baffles are cracked. And this is damage from putting this thing into a vise. I think I just clamped down too hard on it, put stress on those baffles, and caused them to crack. Now, why would I do that? Why would I be such a freaking moron to put a very expensive suppressor in a vise? Well, if you remember, like I said, I switched to the direct thread from this. This is the, the similar adapter that accepts these muzzle devices for quick attachment. Yeah, there you go. Same as that. Well, whenever I decided to switch over to a direct thread adapter, I could not get this thing out of the suppressor. I couldn't do it. It was totally seized in there. I want to see if I can get a good look at this fouling. So you'll notice just lots and lots of caked on crap in there. Well, this piece right here, I was trying to clean it up for this video so I could show you some stuff. It spent a half hour in an ultrasonic cleaner with just soapy water. That didn't touch it. Then I got a small jar and completely submerged this in hoppies and then put the jar in the ultrasonic cleaner, and that didn't help. The fouling that builds up in these suppressors is insane. The only way I've ever effectively been able to get any of it to remove is like scraping it off. Like that little chunk right there. So it's really, really nasty stuff that builds up in these. And whenever you want to remove one of the caps from either end, you've got to battle your way through that. So it's been several years ago since all of this damage happened. And I didn't even realize I had damaged it at the time. I thought everything went fine. But like, if I'm not mistaken, I had to like put this thing in boiling water for a while and then get it into the vise and then beat on, it would have been this one. Had to beat on that until it broke free. And same thing with the end cap. So my hope is that now that I've got this one to use, I can send this one off to SilencerCo and get the baffle stack replaced. I'm hoping that they do that. I mean, I'm not expecting warranty repair because, this is definitely my fault. So, we'll see what happens. Hopefully they'll just, put a new baffle stack in this guy for a reasonable price. Not sure. Now here's another thing. Remember all this crap? You know, like if you're new to suppressors, you're going to find everybody, including manufacturers, just tell you that there is no cleaning to a high-powered rifle suppressor. You just shoot it and it self-cleans. That's a bunch of crap. That is a bunch of crap. I've already shown you here, but just to give you an idea. So this is the Omega 300 in its smallest configuration, right? They've got that anchor brake, which I've got it somewhere in my box. That I never really used the anchor brake on this end. And the direct thread adapter is the lightest adapter you can put on this end. So this is in its very lightest configuration. This right here weighs more than this entire thing right now. You know, longer suppressor, plus it's got the heavier attachment piece on there, which I brought up a scale. Let's measure it real quick. On the SilencerCo website, they've got the weight of the 36M, my new suppressor. They've got it down as 9.8 to 12.5 ounces. So in its full configuration here, it says 1 pound 5/8 ounces. So a pound is 16 ounces. So clearly their number does not include this. So let's pull this off and that out. See if that's closer. 12 3/4, close enough. So it was supposed to be 12.5, and then put all back together. Let's get that number again. Yeah, so just over a pound, 1 pound 5/8 ounce. Here is the SilencerCo Omega 300, 1 pound 3 1/4 ounces. So that's a couple ounces heavier. A new one would not be that way. But let me see what the Omega 300 page on SilencerCo's website says 12.6 ounces. And that would be without this cap. The problem is I can't get this off right now. I tried a little bit to get this off or the end cap off. Neither one will budge right now. It's been a long time since they've been taken apart. So this is fouled up, dirty, and not wanting to come apart. Now, one thing you might notice about this Omega 300 is that there's really no heat discoloration on these. Like, you know, you see a lot of folks, they get them hot and it starts to discolor. Well, I've never shot this thing hot. I just don't really do mag dump sort of shooting very often. It's slow paced, keep the barrel cool, that sort of shooting. And I'm wondering if, okay, maybe that's why mine got so dirty. It was never allowed to get hot enough to start that self-cleaning sort of behavior that they tell us to expect. So any of you guys out there who have suppressors or know more about suppressors, I'd love to hear what you think. Is it normal for them to pick up? Like, this thing is just full of fouling and lead and God knows what else that it's picked up. So maybe that wouldn't have happened if I ran it a little bit hotter every once in a while. Now, onto the new one. I've already mentioned I bought the direct thread adapter and I bought the pistol adapter thingy. So I'm going to be much more careful about trying to keep this suppressor clean, because I'm going to need to be able to remove this. I'm going to need to be able to install my pistol stuff. I'm not sure yet whether I will run this thing in its short configuration most of the time or long. I figure I'll probably run it long most of the time, but whenever I'm going on hunting trips and things like that, a shorter package would be more convenient, so I'll probably try and shorten it up. So I'm just going to have to be careful with maintenance on this guy and make sure that I never go more than a couple range trips without tearing it apart and cleaning things up. Because don't want any more vice damage. I'm glad to see they do have, you know, spots for, they give you a couple tools. You get like one of those and one of those. Yeah, at least a couple spots where we can get some tools in there. So that's it. You know, that's a look at the suppressor. I guess we can get back out to the range now. Interested to see no point of impact shift on the 308 so far. So that's pretty cool. For 300 Blackout, I used up some old discontinued bullets that I had laying around. So I've got 20 rounds with the 208 grain Hornady AMAX, which was replaced by the ELD bullets, and also their 225 grain Boattail hollow point match that was discontinued. I've got 10 of those. So we've got some subsonics to play with, and I've got a whole bunch of supers here with the 110 grain Hornady Z-Max. We tested some of these in my last video. They shoot terrible, like 3 or 4 inch groups, but that's fine. We should still be able to see point of impact shifts and stuff. So that's it. Let's get back out to the range and try some 300 Blackout. Okay, with 300 Blackout, let's start with some subsonics, because shot marker does not work with subsonics. The little microphones around the target down there that make shot marker work rely on supersonic velocities at the target. So I can spot my shots better on a clean piece of paper. we'll do the subsonics first. Okay, so I've got 20 of these. This is the 208 grain AMAX. This is 10.2 grains of reloader 7. I went back to some of my older videos and this load worked with my old 16-inch barrel. This is a Wilson barrel pistol gas with a 1 in 7 twist. It's still pretty new to me. I haven't shot it a ton. So I switched the lab radar over to pistol mode, which I think is what I have to do. It's always a pain in the butt to pick up subsonics as well. All right, no suppressor. This gun is currently sighted in with supersonics with a suppressor. So I really have no idea where this is going to hit or if it's even going to hit somewhere that we can see. Hopefully it doesn't hit my target camera. We've done that before. Yep, unfortunately, I do not see a hole. So no big surprise that I didn't lock the bolt back. That's okay, but at least it ejected that piece of brass. All right. Should have brought out my spotting scope. I see a hole over on the right that might be it. All right, let me try another one. I'm going to use a little bit of Kentucky windage to see if I can get it on camera, assuming that is a bullet hole. No, it's not, but I saw the bullet splash, and I am extremely lucky I didn't just hit my camera. Try another. I have no idea where these are going. Hey, I think I found them finally. All right. Okay, that was a bunch of clicks, but now hopefully we're pretty close. Let's see if we can put two of them close to one another. Didn't quite cycle that second one, no big deal. All right, close enough. Our velocities looked like they were coming in just about right. Just making sure everything's tight on this. And I guess I can remove my hearing protection. This is pretty much the only time I shoot without hearing protection is subsonic 300 Blackout. Some of the other stuff, you know, some of the supers are supposed to be hearing safe, but I like to play it safe. My main reason for having a suppressor is just trying not to annoy my neighbors too much because I'm out here shooting a lot, you know? All right, average velocity was 982, which is perfect. A little bit low, but that's perfect. Standard deviation 11.1, extreme spread 24. So that 10.2 looks pretty good with the AMAXs. I'll load up 3 real quick. Let's see what happens to the point of impact. Man, that is so quiet. Looks like I need a little bit of a gas adjustment. I'm not going to do it though, because this one I got to pull the handguard to get to the block, and I'm too lazy for that today. All right, so terrible group notwithstanding, doesn't look like we had any point of impact shift there. So let's try the short configuration. I really like this short configuration. It's a little bit shorter than my old one, and I think that's going to be really nice for hunting. All right. Okay, here's 5 shots. Malfunction? Yeah. A little bit of a failure to feed there. I didn't count properly. Had one more to go. All right. No dramatic shift. Okay, 4 more left with the AMAX. Let's shoot them with the old Omega 300. I think that one went a little bit high into the right. It might be off camera. All right, that's it, right? Yep. So yeah, that did seem to shift a little bit up and to the right. Nothing crazy though here, right? I was just looking to see if there was any dramatic difference between the old one and the new one. All right, let's get back to, I'm gonna go back to the full setup with this one, and then we'll shoot these other rounds with the 225 grain Hornady. You know, I'm hesitant to even talk about whether it's quieter than the old one. I'm just not sure I can even tell. It seemed like those last 2 groups, which was the old suppressor and the short configuration of the new one, sounded pretty similar. But those first shots I took when this was in its full configuration. Definitely seemed the quietest. Okay, there's our full setup. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna switch to a different dot. Let me go move the camera. Okay, this next load is 10.4 grains of Reloader 7 with the 225 grain Hornet E match boat tail hollow point. I've loaded all 10 in the magazine. Because we're not seeing anything dramatic whatsoever. The new suppressor seems to work like the old one. Don't seem to have much point of impact shift. We've tried the different configurations. Yeah, I think we're done here. So let's shoot these 10 and call it good enough. All right, is that it? That's pretty impressive, man. They're 1-inch dots, so I guess we had one down in the dot, right? So I don't know, about 2 inches, but it looked like it was trying to stack them in there. So if it wasn't for the fact that the 225 grain Hornet E was discontinued, I would want to get some more of those and play around some. Oh well, we'll find another one. So I think that's it, folks. I mean, I think feeling pretty good about everything. Liking the suppressor so far. As I mentioned earlier, I think it's going to be extremely important to get into the habit of tearing that thing completely apart every couple firings, and maybe I can come up with a solution for my ultrasonic cleaner, or maybe I just manually brush things. I'm not sure. Don't want to screw this one up like I screwed this one up. So I'll have an update video, probably, yeah, I'll give you guys an update on what happens with this one, and also whenever my pistol stuff comes in and I can shoot this thing on pistol and do the direct threading. Yeah, well, I'll make a kind of an update video and talk about those things. But for now, I think we're good. Appreciate you joining me. See you guys next time.